Supposedly in the 1900s, the party switched, right? But what did not change is their love for immigration and how they have always prioritized that over the black community.
The Commission finds no national interest in continuing to import lesser skilled and unskilled workers.
Hello, I'm Andre Barnes. If you're hungry for more of the truth, then join us for the PB&J Hour. Payton Jackson and I will discuss the news of the day, policy, and issues that affect your community. Well, it is time for the PB&J Hour. It is that time again. I'm here with my co-host, Payton Jackson, and we're about to light it up for you guys today. And what we've seen this week is a barrage of campaigns of people throwing out misinformation about immigration policy. And we're going to clear that up. We've seen Karen Bass, Hunter Biden, activists, videos of ICE arrests go out there and go viral. So we're going to talk about some of them and talk about how this all affects you. And Payton, what have you seen this week as far as immigration? Have you been seeing a lot of the same thing?
Yeah, one major thing that I remember seeing is ICE start to take control. I forgot which bridge they were on, but they were on this big bridge and they went after protesters in a way that I haven't seen them go after these insane protesters. So when I seen that, I was like, okay, I love it. I love to see ICE take charge because the heat that they have received this year alone is just, it's disgusting. These are men and women of honor protecting our great nation, and they are treated worse than cops right now. When I seen that video, I said, okay, I love it. I love to see it. Because at what point in time do we say, okay, let's stop the protests and allow these great men and women not to be doxxed, not to be attacked, not to be harassed, and just let them do their job. And it's okay to fight or advocate for immigration reform. But while doing that, let's make sure that we're practicing what we preach and we follow the laws of this great land.
Exactly. And I hope people start using the word disappearing, because that's just chalkboard, just nails on the chalkboard for me. All right, we're going to jump into some of the clips of the week. So I will share that right now. All right. So this week, Donald Trump's CBP Home app gets tens of thousands of illegals to self-deport. So they're able to track that all these people are self-deporting. So this is a post that I put about immigration this week. I said the pressure is on. Many people are taking the $1,000 in cash and leaving the U.S. However, what is new is that since Trump took office, ICE has issued nearly 10,000 fine notices to illegal aliens. Did they do that in the last administration? And I'm not sure that they did. What are your thoughts about that, Payton?
I don't think that they did. Again, I can't speak to it intelligently, but while I'm happy to see progress, I think that is a little too nice. You don't break into this country and then get paid to leave. No, American citizens need that $1,000, even if it is a one-time payment. But I guess if it is an incentive to leave, then and it's working, then I guess it's good. But in my eyes, it's a little too nice.
Yes, and it saves us a lot of money doing it this way. You hate to see that $1,000 like not going into our communities, but what's happening, they don't get the $1,000 until they're in their country. And the other thing is, if we were to do it the other way and detain them, that's taxpayer dollars that's going down the drain every day. So this way, we're not putting ICE agents' lives on the line. We're not using taxpayer dollars. This is what we want to see. We want people to leave. This is an exciting trend that we're able to track how many people are leaving. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, I want you guys to see this video before we look at my comment. Here we go. So this is Cory Booker's post. The hands that feed us, we see you. We will fight to protect you. So these illegal hands they're protecting. And my response to this was, why aren't white South Africans in this video? Because in this video, they typecasted that it was all brown people. I don't know if they were Cuban. I don't know if they were Venezuelan. I don't know if they were Mexican. They were all brown in this video. Even they are preferred ahead of Black Americans. Now they point to ICE profiling, but this video shows only Hispanic hands feeding America. It's not accurate, it's not true, and downplays Americans doing the same jobs. And Americans have been pushed out of these jobs because the farmers and these corporations, they only want to hire people that will take less. What are your thoughts about that, Payton?
You're absolutely right. But if they were to make that video or any video like that more diverse, it would contradict with what they accuse the red side of doing. They call Trump racist because they have set this precedence that every illegal immigrant is a Hispanic. And that's not true. But when Trump said in the last debate that there were more than 160 countries invading our border, the American people, I won't say the American people didn't listen, but people heard what they wanted to hear versus just acknowledging the facts or researching the facts. So it fits his side of the aisle. They wouldn't be able to call him racist if they depicted what's going on when it comes to American jobs being taken as diverse as it is, because the true honesty is this is not a Mexican issue, it's not a Hispanic issue.
Right.
This is an American issue. And I spoke on this recently, but some of these illegal immigrants share my skin tone, so it's not just one race.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, it panders to his theory that Donald Trump hates Mexicans, and that's just not true.
Exactly. And here it is. They have the music, they're zooming in on the hands, and they're trying to make Americans feel sorry for these people. These people have been getting over for decades. And now that we're pushing back, now that we're actually utilizing our laws the way that they're supposed to be utilized, now people are trying to draw up these like tiny violins, and it's not going to work. All right, I will go to the next video instead. All right, so I'm about to play another video.
What would you say to people who say,
okay, and this one went viral.
what would you say to people who say, look, they're not here legally, they have to leave, they should have waited in line?
To those people, I don't care to conversate to those people. Our community is devoting our time to the people who are rallying up with us.
What would you say to people who say,
and I'm going to let you respond before I put my post out there. Payton, what are your thoughts about what she said?
She's right. They don't care. They don't care about the neighborhoods that these people go into. They don't care about the resources that are being taken. They don't care about our already failing public school system being overrun. They don't care about our votes in our neighborhoods being diluted because a lot of these people cannot vote, are not supposed to be voting. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about the farm jobs that we just seen in the previous video. It's not that we don't want the jobs. Americans want to work. Not all, but a good amount of Americans want to work. We're just not about to work for $2 a day or $2 an hour. I'm sorry,
right.
It's not livable. But the thing is, they don't care because they can come here, make money sometimes under the table, whether or not you're paying taxes. You can work under the table and they automatically send all of that money back home. All of that money back home. So yeah, she's right. Appreciate her for being transparent. They don't care.
Exactly. And my question on X was, why don't they care about how living in the US illegally impacts Americans? So how does living in the US illegally impact Americans? They don't want to have that discussion. As you said, Payton, we have tried amnesty before, but it doesn't work. More people come illegally to receive amnesty, work, and benefits, and it's a drain on our economy and must end. And here's the thing that I'm hearing a lot, Payton, is that a lot of these people that are on the right and the left, they're saying that a lot of these people that have been here for decades, that we're probably not going to deport them. And I'm not seeing that from the Trump administration, because the head of ICE had a press conference last week with his team, and his team was pretty diverse. And they said clearly that they are going to prioritize the worst of the worst, but they're going after everybody. Everybody. So if they get swept up in the raids, they're going after everybody. And he made it crystal clear. We're not going to be in this situation just because someone's been here for decades and they neglected to get their status updated to become a citizen. It's not guaranteed that you're going to stay. So what we're seeing with the self-deporting, that is definitely helpful, but these raids are going to continue. What are your thoughts about that? Do you want to comment any more about this?
Not about the video, but if I had it my way, yeah, of course, go against anybody being violent or that has committed a crime. But regardless of how long you've been here, again, our neighborhoods, our schools, our resources. Now, if they've never committed a crime, I wouldn't necessarily deport them. What I would do is tax the heck out of them to where they would self-deport.
Yes.
And that's fair. To me, that's fair. If you haven't committed any violent crime, we're going to tax you, because here's the thing, you're still here illegally.
That's
you're
right.
still here illegally. But at the same time, I know we do need to work on this national debt. Now, originally, I didn't agree with the golden card, the $5 million immigration card.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a watered down version of that. If you've been here for 2 decades, you own companies, you're contributing to American society, we can maybe talk about you staying, but you will be taxed. And that's just considering one person. But a lot of these people, they have families here. And that's the problem, because it affects all of these different avenues. So please, let's just come here legally or don't come here at all.
Exactly. And this is what we were seeing with the self-deportation. The reason people were self-deporting was because of the fines. People were receiving those fines in the mail, and people were following up when the fines weren't being paid. So I think what you're saying will actually happen eventually. Let's jump
Fingers
to the
crossed.
clip. Fingers crossed. Yeah. All right. All right. Payton, can you hear it now?
Tom Homan has said physical description cannot be the sole
Can you hear it now, Payton?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
factor for reasonable suspicion, but things like location, occupation, physical appearance add up, particularly if a person runs away or if there's a tattoo or something. You don't seem to believe that.
Location, sitting at a bus stop, walking down the street, selling fruit. No, I do dispute that. Absolutely. And again, the National Guard should have never been deployed in the first place. We did not ask for them. This is the federal seizure of power from a governor deploying the National Guard when the National Guard were not even needed.
What are your thoughts?
I want to apologize in advance, but you know how hard it must be to be stupider than Jasmine Crockett. I don't understand it. Don't we have to have licenses to sell food in America? I don't own
Americans
a restaurant.
do. Americans do.
and Americans should be the ones to have the Second Amendment, but we seen in Illinois that wasn't true as well.
Right.
I don't understand what's wrong with Black women in particular, Black men too, but our Black leaders are really failing us. Like, where is Dr. Claude Anderson when you need him?
Yep.
When I tell you we have cheered for our own demise when it comes to being a permanent underclass, we have literally cheered for our own demise. I don't care if you're selling fruit, which one of the stands was caught drug trafficking with the fruit and the produce, but okay. I don't care if you're selling fruit, washing cars, walking down the street, the bus stop, or at a house that you just bought or rented. If you are here illegally, you have violated federal law. And it does make you a criminal, despite what Democrats are telling everyone. You are a criminal. You have to be held accountable. If we aren't soft on crime when it comes to our American citizens, why would we be soft on crime when it comes to illegal invaders? It doesn't make sense. If I break into Karen Bass's house, I'm going to get arrested. She's not gonna, oh no, no, I'm going to get arrested.
That's
It
right.
just it makes no sense. But when you have the law set up to where first entry is just a misdemeanor and not a felony, when you have businesses operating in the manner that they do without e-verify, when you have landlords knowingly renting to illegal immigrants, when you have school districts open arms, while again our public education system is already failing.
That's right.
It's
That's
not
right.
just Black Americans cheering for our own demise, it's Democrats literally cheering for the demise of America. We need a secure border. Just like anyone 9 times out of 10 would love a fence around their house for security, we need a fence around our border. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. And there are bills like this Safety Act in Illinois. And here's the thing, the Safety Act was really built to deal with the anti-police sentiment and deal with some of the things that people thought were detrimental to Black communities. But what has happened? What's happened is illegal immigrants have been taking advantage of laws that were written for Americans and being released multiple times or given light sentences. And you're seeing them habitually repeat crimes. And when the lawmakers, the elected officials are asked why these people are being released, they have no answer. You're right. We do need to deal with these laws and we need to stop allowing people to take advantage of things that are written for Americans that shouldn't be going to illegal immigrants.
Exactly. Put Americans first.
That's
That's what
right.
America first means. Putting all Americans first, not just white Americans, Black Americans, brown Americans, Asian Americans, purple Americans, yellow Americans, everybody. Everybody needs to be included in the American first agenda. But I feel like Democrats think that if someone hops over the border, they're an American.
That's
And
right.
that's really how we have it set up right now. You have American rights even when you're not American. That's the problem. That is a huge problem.
That is a huge problem. I'm gonna let you land there. We'll go to the next clip. That was nice. Old friend, Hunter Biden. We can't wait to hear what you have to say about this.
For someone, am I going to be like all
Do
these
you hear?
Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration? Fuck you. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your fucking table? Who do you think washes your dishes? Who do you think does your fucking garden? Who do you think is here by the fucking sheer fucking just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance. And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals for some.
Payton, were you able to hear that? Okay. All right. My response was, when did Hunter Biden become such a humanitarian or an immigration expert? He's just another hack pushing out the narrative that immigrants do jobs Americans won't do. It's not true. Also, we can't help all the broke and the broken people of the world. That is a direct quote from Denise Long, who's running for Congress, for Senate in Illinois. If there is no consequences for people breaking our laws, people will keep coming. I want to apologize first for the profanity laced response that Hunter Biden had. I'm just like, why was that even necessary? But what were your thoughts about what he said, Payton?
He said, who do you think is washing your dishes? Me. I don't have a maid. Who do you think is cutting your garden or your lawn? Me, if code compliance doesn't trespass onto my property.
Yeah.
Who do you think is making your beds at the hotels. That's a job that you just took away from an American. It's just a stupid response. And that's why he had to use profanity. But if you go and you watch the whole video, he also says that he doesn't think that the Democrat Party is dead. That's a lie.
That is a
That y'all might as well just start a new party.
blow that
But
thing
no,
up.
it's stupid. It's stupid. You broke into the country. You are a criminal. There's no gray area. You broke into a country. You broke federal laws, not just state, not just city, not just county. You broke a federal law and entered illegally. And it was because his dad said surge the border. So I don't. Didn't he smile? I'm not
Hey,
gonna say
found
that.
someone
No
on
comment.
our ground. We'll leave that alone. My whole thing is back of the hiring line, the Emancipation Reclamation, both written by the founder of Numbers USA, Roy Beck, really goes over the pushback against this narrative of who's doing your dishes, who's cutting your lawn. I have a freedman that cuts my lawn. I have an American that cuts my lawn. And the reason I have him do that, because I know that he's competing with 3 or 4 businesses in our neighborhood. And yes, I pay him more, but I want to support his business because I love what he's doing. He's taking initiative. There were a couple times he just cut my yard for free because he saw that I hadn't gotten to it. And I was like, you know what, man, I'll just let you do it because you got all the equipment. I've got some of the equipment, but not all of it. And it looks a lot better when you do it. I gave him that opportunity, but people aren't willing to pay more, or people are just not willing to do it for themselves without having to pay a cheap price. And that's just terrible. But we'll continue because there's more. All right.
Just got information.
All right, Payton, let me know if you can hear.
We just
Okay.
from an HHS official that shows that 13,061 unaccompanied minors have actually been located under the Trump administration. And ICE, we're learning, is also arresting some of the sponsors. 442 sponsors have been arrested for involvement in suspected child abuse or other crimes are being discovered. Now, the abuse is being determined through a multifaceted investigation if they do determine that sponsor was abusing that child. Now, they're using local police, CPS, federal agencies, they're all involved, according to HHS. Now, former special agents with Homeland Security investigations have explained to us that oftentimes these kids are left behind as payment. The parent is often promised by the cartel members that they will eventually be reunited with their child in the U.S. That child, sadly, is often recycled to help single adults enter the country illegally. Now, we know that 320,000 unaccompanied minors were essentially unaccounted for under the Biden administration. The Trump administration, they campaigned on it. They've been talking about it regularly. It's a priority for them to go and find these kids, but still, just a fraction, Nicole, 13,000 out of 320,000 so far.
Truly just a fraction there, Allie.
Oh, Payton, I wanted to deal with this because these are numbers that have come in 6 months. And these are numbers, the 320,000, are numbers that happened over a 4-year period. So we're starting to take action against the sponsors and the people that have been trafficking missing children. We're taking action against them. And I just have a story to tell because when the Trump administration got in, there were 66,000 missed calls from people that were reporting crimes to Homeland Security. The previous administration only had one person working the phone. And they started going through some of those calls. And one of the calls that they went through, Payton, was from like a 9 or 10-year-old boy. And the boy called ICE and HHS and left a message. And he said, people are coming to around at night when it's dark and they're touching me. And they followed up on the call and they were able to save the boy and arrest the perverts. Use your resources so you can at least help the people that are reporting. If you're going to be evil, if you're going to not do anything, just please do the bare minimum, because like this is ridiculous that this new administration is having to clean so much up in such a short period of time. And I'm glad they were able to get to this boy, but how many were just missed? And how many just weren't able to make it for long enough for the administration to get to this. What are your thoughts about that, Payton?
My thoughts are everywhere. It's a touchy subject for me. My childhood wasn't the best, but it was nothing in comparison to things like this. And I thought that they were being a little nice with the reporting because it is not really as transparent as it needs to be to show the dangers of what's going on at the border and everything that's going on, because these kids aren't just being recycled for more people to come in. They're being recycled.
That's right.
Like for personal use, which I hate to think about it, but it's important that we have these conversations. But the sad reality is, even when we put information like this out, we know that it's a certain percentage of people that refuse to research it. And even if they do know exactly what's going on, they hate the Republican Party or they hate Trump so much, they can't even clap for this small win. And this is no small win. Now, 300,000, 13,000, the huge difference, but we're making leeway. And these are kids that we're talking about. Kids. Like, we don't know what these kids have been going through. I didn't know it was so bad until I heard a testimony from Tom Homan and what he experienced. I believe it was with an 18-wheeler packed with people.
Yeah.
So it's disgusting. And for the party of the people to be this dismissive of something like this is just disgusting. But they're also the party of trans kids. So we know that Democrats don't care about kids as much as they try and champion, oh, we're the party of the people. If you look at what they do in comparison to what they say, you'll know exactly who you need to choose in between, or don't choose any party. But at least do your due diligence when it comes to your party and everything that's going on, especially in America right now.
Exactly. That's spot on analysis, Payton. And the only thing that I'd like to add to that is when we're talking about lowering immigration, a lot of people believe that it's just because we're cold hearted and we don't want to help people. But lowering immigration does help people. That is less people that are being trafficked. Those are less drugs that are coming across the border. Those are less opportunities for illegal immigrants that come here to harm people are able to get in. When we have policies that strengthen our border and also ensure that people can't come here to work illegally, the policies that we put into place have consequences. And this, unfortunately, is one of the consequences of having an open border policy. Let's jump to the next video.
Amigo, não tem problema, amigo, eu não tenho problema, amigo. Hold on, P, man. Sorry. Move back. Out the way, boys. Out the way. You're gonna get knocked down. Move.
All right, Payton. The reason I wanted to show you that video is because I wanted to dispel the myth that they're not black ICE agents, because there were several in the video and they're involved with the arrest just like everyone else, but also another orderly arrest. He had a rejection for his status to be updated in his hand, and they were out there because he's in the system as someone that has overstayed a visa or his time here as on temporary status has been revoked. They're there doing their job. And it was a smooth operation. A lot of times when people are yelling and screaming, it can pull at some people's heartstrings. But at the end of the day, ICE has a job to do. The American people voted that they wanted less immigration. They were supporting the deportation. They're still supporting the deportations now at a high percentage. So we've got to understand that when we're dealing with deportations, it's not always going to be pretty, but it's opening up opportunities for Americans. It's opening up opportunity on the housing market, the job market, shorter lines for the emergency room, and less traffic, less overall traffic. What are your thoughts?
Look, I'm a Cancer, so people say we're overly emotional. It didn't pull on my heartstrings. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And it
Yeah.
was a pretty picture to me. But I'm
Mhm.
glad that he wasn't, or he didn't look Hispanic. I don't know what his origin is, but
African. It was
he was.
somewhere in the post. It was West
So
Africa.
I'm glad that he shared my skin color, so they won't call me racist, because I'm so tired of hearing that. But like you just said, it frees up an American resource. If you're here illegally, you have to go. It only looked bad because he was dropping his weight on the officers.
That's right.
He could have walked. I laughed the first time I seen it, the second and the third time. If you're here illegally, you have to go. What did Tom Homan say? If you do have a family, you can all go together.
That's right.
The only right that you should have after breaking into this country or overstaying your welcome is the right to remain silent. I don't feel sorry for him. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm sorry.
I don't either. And as we're wrapping up today, we've seen a lot of anti-enforcement rhetoric. We've heard a lot of the same stereotypes about immigrants. And I think that we have dispelled some of those stereotypes because there's a lot of resources out there that people can find. You know, how mass immigration increases the crime rate, how mass immigration decreases salaries, how mass immigration makes our education system strained and sometimes even broken. So I just think that it's time for us to push back against this rhetoric and narrative that the Democrats and other people are putting up about the disappearing and narrative that ICE is some sort of like paramilitary group. None of that is true. They are a law enforcement organization and they're doing their job, as we've seen in the videos that we've gone over. And I just want to just give like an update. I had an opportunity to go to a Senate hearing about immigration, and there was a story that just blew me away. Maria Vega is from Texas, and her husband was, I believe he worked for a border patrol or something like that, but they were going to see grandma. They were going, sorry, it was her son. They were going to see grandma. They're having a day of camping and fishing, and they were going to end the day with a hunting trip, and they were ready to have a fantastic day. But what ended up happening? A lot of the illegals that come into the country illegally, they use trucks to get people over the border and back over. But they don't bring those trucks from Mexico. They steal the trucks in the United States. So they will attack unsuspecting people in their SUVs or their trucks because they'll be able to transport people back and forth. This family, they had a large truck, and 3 or 4 illegal aliens attacked them with guns, shot her son and her husband, and she's in the truck with the kids telling them to get down, and she's shooting back too as bullets are whizzing past her head. It sounds like a movie, like Kill Bill or something. They survived because they had weapons in their vehicle, and eventually they were able to force off these illegal aliens. Her son lost his life, and now she has to deal with the PTSD of what happened. She can't go to sleep without seeing these images over and over again, but she was brave enough to come and tell her story at the Senate, and it totally changed my entire perception of what happens, and I learned so much. And there were other stories too, but I did want to talk about that one. And I might talk about a few of the other ones, and we'll talk offline about some of the things that I learned at the Senate. But I just want people to know that real people are being affected by illegal immigration. And we're not saying that we want to end all immigration, but we need to lower the number because we need to deal with the issues that we have here in this country. Go ahead and wrap it up, Payton. I know you got it.
I'm glad you told me that they were able to defend themselves with the Second Amendment, right? Because what I don't appreciate is Americans like me being criminalized for my security on my ways,
Right.
because they're anti-Second Amendment, they're anti-guns, they think that guns are bad. We want gun control, but we don't want border control. As if guns don't come across the border, as if drugs don't come across the border. The logic from the Democrat Party is just, it's insane, but I really do believe they know exactly what they're doing. They're not all that stupid. It can't be. They can't all be collectively that stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. But like Dr. Claude Anderson said, they need somebody to replace. See,
Right.
LBJ got it wrong. He said that we'll have Black people voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Maybe 50 years, maybe 60 years, but we're coming up on maybe 100 years. But there's a turn happening, especially with the Black men. And if only the Black women could just follow the Black man's lead, especially politically, in other ways too, but especially politically, we would be safe. We would be good. But it's a slow tide that's coming in. The red wave is coming in. But who can Democrats brainwash for generations on end to solidify their voting base? Illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Now they can't vote right now, or at least they're not supposed to vote. But we've seen with the last presidential election, we've seen all these governors purging the voter rolls because we had people who were ineligible to vote, or we had illegal aliens, or not aliens, but illegal immigrants registered to vote and going to vote illegally. So Democrats know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to solidify the next 2 decades in office because even if they claim to believe in term limits, it's never going to happen with the people that we have in Congress right now, because why would they want to put a cap on their power? I'll turn it back to the American people. You see everything that's going on. I don't care if you watch CNN, I don't care if you watch Fox. I suggest you go out of those 2 sources, do independent research, and come to your own conclusion. I didn't think that immigration was that bad either until I started to do my research. One of the books that I picked up was Back of the Hiring Line, and it completely changed my whole outlook on everything. And that is when I realized, okay, it's not just the Hispanic community. This is not a race issue. This is an American issue. So again, I bring it back to the American people. We have to do better.
Right. And we have to utilize better policies. We have to create better policies, long-term legislative immigration policies on immigration. And the policy can't just be because people have been here 10 or 12 years or 30 years, we're just going to let them stay. We have to do better. We have to get together and figure out what we're really going to do, because the people that have been here for decades have been having consequences on our economy, and we have to deal with those consequences. And there is a way to incorporate them, and we'll figure it out, but it's going to take a team effort between Democrats and Republicans working together to figure out what that's going to be.
Agreed.
All right,